alaikum, peace be upon you, and welcome to Salam Cafe, a show brought to you from Melbourne's Muslim community, which is diverse, but a lot of people think that the Australian Muslim community is mainly made up of Lebanese. Myself, well, I guess I'm half that demographic, being half Australian and half Lebanese, but other panel members are not. So let's have a talk and find out what makes up our panel. Starting with our barista, who's back. Welcome back.
Assalamualaikum.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Good to be back in the apron.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be back here. What makes what I'm made of? I'm South African. I was born in South Africa. My parents are Indian, and of course I'm an Aussie. But I lived in Dublin for 2 years, so I think I'm a real mix.
I thought I picked up the accent.
Did you? It's sort of South African, Irish, Australian.
Yeah.
And Indian.
Yeah.
Multiculturalism to the T. Yeah.
And yourself, Susan?
Well, I'm Australian, 6th generation Australian. It is reported that my family came to Australia with the First Fleet, so watch your coffee mugs, or otherwise I might just swipe them. But my mum's a Kiwi, so I'm a bit of a mix too.
So I'm a mixed bag, you're a mixed bag, you're a mixed bag.
There's lollies here.
Fruit salad, actually. No, my mother's Turkish and my dad's from Africa. I was born in Australia.
Where in Africa?
My dad is from East Africa and from Ethiopia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my dad's Oromo. And, so he came out here about 20 years ago and him and Mum had me.
Without getting too... how does someone from East Africa meet somebody from Turkey?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, well, Mum and Dad will be so happy.
Sorry.
No, they met in Australia, so they met here and everything pretty much happened here, not like overseas or anything like that. My mum was brought up in Australia too, contrary to like typical, everyone's like, are you Arab? I'm like, no, I'm not Arab at all, and they're surprised from the accent and all that.
You speak Turkish?
Yes, I speak
So
Turkish.
when you speak Turkish people, do they just like freak out?
Yeah, like why is this non-white person?
Totally, absolutely, full-on freak out. Like if I could tell you some of the stories of stuff that I've heard, yeah.
Maybe off air.
Fantastic.
That's good. And yourself, Waleed, what's your background?
Swedish, actually. Ahmed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about the
that's
eye and
right.
hair colour?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Sweden might be multicultural.
Very much so.
Yeah, but it's not true. But no, I'm.
Your alter ego, where are you?
Well, I'm fully blown Egyptian. Both my parents actually came out mid-60s, but as individuals they met here.
Okay.
Uni graduates, things like that. That's what they were doing. And so, yeah, they met sort of mid-60s and got married, and I was born late 80s.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
Late 80s?
Sorry, late 70s.
I'm young fella.
That's me. Born
Very
in the
mature
late
for
80s.
my age.
Yeah. High school.
So you're Australian born?
Yeah.
Myself?
I think we're all Australian.
Oh, I'm not. I was born in South Africa. I'll let the team down.
You're an import?
Immigrant.
What about Dad on the far right?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much like Waleed. I was born in England but came here when I was a baby.
Were you born in England?
Yeah.
I had no idea
It was
about
only
that.
6 months, I don't remember it. My parents came out here in the 60s as well. But I guess the main thing that I sort of, want to find out is that people think often, Muslim equals Arab, when in fact only maybe 15% of Muslims are actually Arab, and the vast majority of Muslims are Indonesian or Turkish or Indian or whatever.
Let's go to the heartland of the Muslim, Sydney Road, with Salam Cafe to go and see about the true cultural mix.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
No legs there.
I reckon I'm going to see some of my family. Let's have a look.
The cousins.
Assalamualaikum, I'm here with brother Nazim and I'm Verity and we're here on Sydney Road. We're going to ask some people a couple of questions. What do you think we're going to ask them?
I don't know why they're out on Sydney Road when it's such a cold day, but, you know, whoever's out at this time and in this weather must be interesting. So let's get to it.
Let's go.
Question, do you know what halal means?
Halal? I don't know much.
You don't know? No. All right.
Okay, and what's your favourite restaurant?
Favourite restaurant along Sydney Road? Well, I prefer the cheapest ones actually. They all taste the same to me.
Do you know what halal means?
Hello?
I can ask you guys a quick couple of questions. I guess not. Nice red sock things. If you could ask him any question, what question would you ask him?
When's Ramadan Day?
We're getting free food here because we're from Salam Cafe. Thanks for that. Verity, if you want. Let's go inside. First ever live, not really live, recorded entry into the kitchen of Balha's Pastry. What's this one called? Fingers. Okay. Not human fingers, pastry fingers. What's your name?
Bashir, but no English.
What was your name, brother?
Mahmoud.
Mahmoud, and what are you making?
Semolina, the cream, and anything.
So you all Lebanese?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. I'm Sri Lankan. Can I work here as well? I have to be Lebanese. How old are you?
18.
18, are you married?
Nah, man, I'm getting engaged soon.
Oh, he's getting engaged. Bad luck, everyone. Yeah, what's your name, brother?
Mohammed.
Mohammed, what nationality are you?
Lebanese.
Lebanese. And what do you have for your traditional Lebanese breakfast?
Breakfast, cornflakes, cheese. What's else? Tea, toast.
Okay. So is that a Lebanese breakfast or?
Yes.
Sydney Road is good. Sydney Road is happy.
Just wondering if I could just apply for a loan that I don't have to pay back. Is that alright, or? You able to do? Ahmed, what are you doing here?
My house is the same with you. What are you doing here?
Shouldn't you be like getting something ready for Salam Cafe?
Mate, I can't believe I come to work and you guys track me down.
Well, we were actually just coming here to get some free money because we went to Balha's Pastry before and they gave us some free pastry. We were just wondering if we can come down here and get a free loan.
Did you bring some pastry for us?
No, but we'll just go get you some. What like having for breakfast?
What I feel I can feel eat. What do you want?
Excuse me, can I ask you a couple of questions? Alright, see you later. Can I ask you a question? Please, let us ask you a question. What does halal mean to you?
Blessed meat, is it?
Let's got a couple of things over here just to ask him a couple of questions. What nationality are you guys? Oh yeah, I can tell by the colour of your skin. Alright, we're just here at Arabi's hairstylist on Sydney Road in Brunswick. We're still on Sydney Road. Yeah, Lebanese as well?
Yeah, Lebanese.
And what's your favourite food?
Prawns.
Prawns?
Prawns and kirkan.
Prawns. Just one question. Relax. What's your name?
Rami.
Rami, you've got a little bit of something just there. Now, when did you open up your business?
What is it?
When did you open up your business?
It wasn't my business. It's
Ah.
the customer.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I guess he's not the big boss. Salam Cafe!
Mercy.
Now, Susan, no. Wait. That was so not representative of all, Lebanese taking over Melbourne. No, that is so not it. My parents have told me since, I was a kid that it's the Turks who have ruled Melbourne. And statistically, it's true because the majority of Muslims are Turkish in Melbourne.
I'm not sure it's true.
Do Turks eat cornflakes for breakfast?
Yeah, come on. See, I never knew that I was eating such a cultural breakfast.
Well, you guys have tea, that's Turkish.
I think Salam Cafe should go to Broadmeadows next.
That's
We'll send them up to Fordgate.
But seriously, there is no way Sydney Road is that Lebanese though.
No.
It's incredible.
I think they were very selective.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll have a word to the credit guys.
Yeah.
I think we need to go to the break.
Something has to be done.
It's gone very quick. I was quite happy. I actually knew about 50% of the guys.
One guy looked a lot like you.
It was actually me.
Yeah.
We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Salam Cafe. We have a great guest with us today, and what I'd like to do is actually hand over to Asad Ansari, because I know he's really looking forward to having a chat with Yasmin.
Thanks, Alpha. I'm really excited today, actually, because we've got a human rights lawyer on the show. Yasmin's actually worked for the United Nations and worked at The Hague, which most lawyers will say, wow.
Can we hear a wow from Walid, please?
Wow!
Walid gave a wow, and we're really excited about it. So, Yasmin, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good to have you.
Good to be here. So how does a girl from Adelaide get to The Hague?
Yes. Well, basically I studied law, and it's been my passion ever since I was young. Human rights is my main passion, and I just applied through the website on the UN website. I always knew I wanted to work for the UN in some capacity, and I thought it would be really good to go and work prosecuting war criminals in The Hague. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
just cheering. Yeah, it was kind of cheering, you know. Nothing to do on a Sunday. Say, hey, Milosevic, come on.
Jasmine, can you tell us what is The Hague?
Okay, The Hague is actually a city in Holland, and it's the capital of Holland. And basically, you have you have like the International Criminal Court's being set up there now. You have the Peace Palace, so you've got the arbitration committees there. Basically, you have all sort of international UN courts there. And so they basically have a lot of legal.
And what was your role? Like, what did you do when you went out there?
Photocopying?
Absolutely. I am good at it now. I can tell you that. No, I basically worked with the prosecution. So we were put into prosecuting teams. And and we were the particular team that I was in. We were prosecuting someone who bombed Dubrovnik in Croatia, and so I was just working on the trial team. We were in trial at the time I was there, so I was there for 6 months.
And who were some of the people that we at home might know? Like, who were people that?
Well, Milosevic was on trial.
Heard of him?
Yeah, he was sort of sitting there chilling.
So that was going on while you were working there?
Yeah, that was there while I was there.
Was that like the biggest profile case that ever come through the doors?
Well, these tribunals in Rwanda and in for the former Yugoslavia, they were both set up ad hoc. So basically, they're just set up for the particular purpose for that conflict. So what you have there is, Milosevic was definitely the biggest fish for them to get, and it's a big problem for.
And did you sit on the Milosevic trials?
Yeah, I did. I sat and watched the trials, and it's amazing because you hear so much about this person, they become like an image in your head, and then their reality, they're sitting there.
And how was it when you saw it? Was he like just a normal person when you looked at him?
Yeah.
I'd imagine from what we see in the media, we're really concerned about someone like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the hardest thing for me to grapple with was the idea that I spoke to, quite a few guards while I was there, and they were telling me they were the ones that accompanied him from his cell every day to the courtroom. And they were saying, in actual fact, he's actually, on a personal level, quite a nice guy. And it sort of really jolts you because...
So incongruous.
Yeah, and you want to think of these people as completely demonist. Yeah. But in the same respect, they're a human being and their grandkids love them and visit them in jail.
Exactly.
But on the other aspect, they are the masterminds of what is absolute incredible atrocities. So...
And then...
Sorry, I was going to ask you a silly question, but how do you get a job at The Hague?
Basically you have to apply, it depends where you want to work there, because there's quite a few, there's NGOs, non-government organisations that work there, and then the UN, and there are, so there's quite a few organisations there.
Pretty big stuff.
Yeah, and so you just have a lot of international things happening. If you want to work for the UN, basically you can go onto their website and they have, jobs going on their website.
Were there many other Muslims working there?
There was one other there was about 3 or 4 other Muslims that I met while I was there. There was a couple of Pakistani guys who were police, who were detectives.
Wow.
Over there. Were lovely, lovely guys. And I was working on the same floor as them, so we got along really well. And there was another lady who was also wearing a headscarf, and she was an investigator too.
Speaking of the headscarf, I mean, I've got a friend who was a lawyer, Muslim lawyer here, and she sort of came to the conclusion that it would be very difficult to find a legal job in Australia wearing the headscarf. I mean, you had to go to Holland. Now that you're back here, I mean, you've got good credentials, you've been at The Hague, but do you find it's a bit difficult to crack the legal profession here because Australia's still not very much used to Muslim people?
As a hijabi?
Yeah, that's a really good question actually. I can understand why it's a concern for people because there is definitely a stereotype in society, I think everywhere, and about different people, and Muslims and Muslim women have a stereotype that attaches to them. But luckily, I've actually been really, really amazingly lucky. I am actually working at the moment as an associate to a judge in the Supreme Court of South Australia.
Fantastic.
And
wow.
And now I can... There's no such thing as it's the intersection of talent and opportunity.
And divine intervention. Yeah, and actual fact, it's really amazing as well because the judge that I'm working for, he's actually Jewish. So everyone really quite laughs actually when we come into court together because I sit in front and he sits behind and everyone's like, isn't that the Jewish judge? That's a Muslim girl with a hijab? This is so weird. What's going on?
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, he and I, have so much in common, and we do intercultural things outside and interfaith things outside as well. But it's just, I mean, the great thing about it is, as he said to me, he said, you're a good person for the job, and I'm someone who is interested in having you, and we get along really well, so it's great.
So let's do it.
Awesome.
One thing that wasn't mentioned much to my chagrin so far is that you also did legal work, or you worked for the UN in East Timor.
Yeah, that's
Is that right?
correct. Yeah.
Now,
You've been everywhere.
No.
Yeah,
really.
surely Melbourne's a bit boring for you now. But like what?
Well, not Melbourne, Adelaide.
Well, yeah. I just didn't want to offend the Adelaideans. But what was that? I mean, that must have been incredible.
Yeah. I think it was the most incredible thing about being in East Timor was the fact that you were actually in the country with the people that had the conflict, you know. And for example, when you're in The Hague, in Holland, in Europe, you're quite far away from the Balkans and where the war in the former Yugoslavia happened.
Yeah.
So you're removed.
You're removed from it, and you feel that. And I went and travelled around the former Yugoslavia after, and for about 2 weeks, and met the people, and you really do feel this sense of sort of disjunct between the people and what's happening in The Hague, because they don't really know, and it's not something that I think they feel like they own. Whereas in East Timor, it's in Dili, which is the capital of East Timor, Timor-Leste.
Did it hit home? Did it really hit home when you saw it actually happen there in front of you, like in front of your eyes? You saw the aftermath of everything.
Yeah, I think it was
compared to like seeing on TV or on the news or whatever.
Oh, I don't think you can ever really understand until you actually see that reality in front of you in your face. Like every day in East Timor, we'd be walking past the buildings where the Indonesian militia had slaughtered these East Timorese pro-independence, and so you just feel like you go past Bishop Bello's house where, you know, hundreds of people were macheted to death, and you know that, and you get that sense of reality, and you meet these Timorese people who are lovely, amazing, open, forgiving. They're like, look, we have nothing against Indonesian people, we just want to get on with our lives, and you get this sense of humbleness of the smallness of you in your own life.
So what sort of work did you actually do while you were there?
In East Timor, I was working on an indictment. Basically, an indictment is what we write legally. We write it, you know, if we're going to prosecute someone, we have to write an indictment against them. So these are the charges against you, and this is the legal claims. I was writing an indictment for some of the people some of the officials in Indonesia. Big problem though was the fact that this is the problem when law and politics mixes, which happens in international law and human rights often, is that most of the people who we were trying to prosecute were actually in Indonesia, and Indonesia wasn't about to extradite the people. So we had little fish from East Timor being prosecuted. Really wasn't making, you know, it wasn't really the purpose. And also the East Timorese government had a policy where what they wanted was reconciliation. They wanted to move forward and not be held back by a sense of needing retribution.
Yeah. So where to from here for you? Where's the sky's the limit?
Oh, I don't know. I like to keep things open, see how things go. I've got 2 years with the judge, working with him in the Supreme Court, which currently is just fantastic. And then I'm probably thinking perhaps do a master's somewhere. Yeah, so I'm not really sure.
Back to school.
Yeah, you've got to get as much knowledge as you can while you can.
Now, before we go on, Supreme Court, you must have seen some gruesome stuff. In the Supreme Court.
We're actually doing a trial at the moment.
Are you allowed to talk about it?
I can talk about it.
Okay.
Good.
Actually, hang on. Do we want you to talk about it?
No, I mean, it's actually quite funny. I was chatting before we came on camera, and I was just saying that it's quite interesting that you, having come back from hearing about these atrocities, and then you come back and you sort of see one murder, and it sort of impales you.
Only one person.
You're like, oh, right, okay.
I've seen heaps,
Well, I'm going to get murdered by the guys upstairs if we don't wrap this up. This has been absolutely fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you.
A very quick session, very interesting, and I think we just touched the tip of the iceberg. Hope to see you again. Thank you very much, and come back and visit us on Salam Cafe.
Will do.
Thank you. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back to Salam Cafe. That was a very interesting interview with Yasmin.
She was sitting right next to me. I was good.
Yasmin Ahmed.
I'll never wash this hand again.
Yasmin Ahmed, thank you very much for that.
You rock.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent, and the reason why I was very happy about that was because at the moment in Victoria, for Victorians, there's a human rights consultation which I hope all our viewers get involved in. And they're thinking about putting into legislation, putting into law the protection of certain human rights recognised by international law, including the United Nations, for example, freedom of speech, as an example.
Isn't this stuff already in our law?
No, it's not in our law. And so at the moment, the Victorian government's taking consultation from the community, and we'll put some information on our website so our viewers can access that, and so that we can all participate in this very important function. And also, we don't have to go to The Hague to be involved in human rights. We can do it sitting in Melbourne.
Well, speaking of freedom of speech, everybody's got freedom of speech to answer our questions on the website, which Susan's going to share with us right now.
And we've got freedom of speech not to read them out.
We actually got some really funny answers to the question. In case you don't remember, the question was, if you could have a shop on Sydney Road, what would you sell and what would you call it? Now, no one answered what would you call it. Don't know why. Well, we got some really good answers actually to what people would sell, and I just can't decide between these two. So the first one is by Atif Sadiqi, who said, if I would sell kebabs. No matter how many kebab shops you have, they will always do well.
That is very true.
If for anyone that's been to Sydney Road, you'll know that there's about 2,000 kebab shops.
Every second shop.
Yeah.
A kebab shop.
No points for originality then.
No, but still. Now this is a good one. It's a pity that Nazim's actually not here to hear this. I think he may have been the one that sent it under the name Arul Gunaratnam, because the answer was, I would just have a shop filled with Nazim photos and dolls, because he is such a darling. Thanks, Nazim, Mum. That's great. Now, it was actually really good. We got heaps of answers. It was lots of fun. So this week's question.
Hang on, you've got to declare a winner.
Oh.
No fence sitting. You've got to come out and say... Look,
it can't be Nazim. I'm sorry, I'm casting my vote.
All right, yeah, Atif, you win. You win our appreciation and long-standing respect.
And
little else.
And with apparent bias.
Yeah. Now, with the next, we're going to have another question now. You've got 2 weeks to answer this one as well. The question is, what is the best advice that your grandmother has ever given you? Now, the reason I'm suggesting this question, not just because it's always good to know wise words of grandmothers, but because I encourage you all to go to our fantastic website, sponsored by Swish Connect, salamcafe.com.au, because that's some of the profile questions some of these funky people have answered as well. So let's see if you can beat the words of wisdom that some of our grandmas have supplied. You've got 2 weeks to come up with the best answers. Send them in, and you too could have your answer and name read out on this show that gets up to 14,000 viewers.
Just on the website, you mentioned way back a couple of weeks ago that it was new. It was
New and improved.
I finally got around to visiting it. That's actually, I shouldn't say that. I visit it every day. But
twice on Sunday.
I couldn't believe there's like you can download episodes.
You can download episodes.
Like, baby, we're international.
I know.
Like this is.
We've got people in Spain watching us.
Who watches us?
Literally.
It is all happening.
Remember last year we got an email from Rome?
Yeah.
That could happen now.
Legitimately.
All over the world.
So tell your rallies overseas. Tune in.
US, Spain.
Monday night, 9 o'clock. Saturdays, 5:30. Repeated.
Anytime on the net.
If not, anytime on the net.
Exactly.
You can't get enough of Salam Cafe.
That's right.
We'll see you next week. Until then, Salam alaikum. Peace be upon you.
Salam alaikum.